Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
Childishness has also reacted to the current behavior of the NPP and also cautioned them to stop the childish politics, from asking or trying to know whether Mahama will go for another term again. Without much ado, I would like you to join me listen to what he said and what his analysis is all about. This station still remain PENDREAM TV, the only channel that brings you the best and latest updates in politics. If you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, like and also share to other members to watch as well. You can equally leave a comment at the comment section or send us a voice note on our WhatsApp number, which is 0277128777. Thank you. Without much ado, I would like you to join me listen to what he said into detail. Please do drop your comments after watching. To our new members too, I'll urge you to subscribe to the channel. Make it go viral for us as well. Thank you. Be right back.
Mr. Pratt, let me come to you before I read some of the messages here.
I think the new Patriotic Party should take the comments of former President John Agyekum Kufuor seriously. It is former President John Agyekum Kufuor who has said that given the abysmal performance of the new Patriotic Party, the leadership of that party over the last 8 years ought to apologize to the people of Ghana and to show that it has something new to offer. I think this is very mature advice. And if they took it, it would be quite beneficial. You see, 6 months ago, we're under the rule of the new Patriotic Party. 6 months ago, the electricity subsector was almost about to collapse with a debt of $3.1 billion. 6 months ago, the national debt had ballooned to the extent that we had to go for an IMF program, which actually placed a ban on public sector employment in a country which was suffering severe unemployment. You understand? 6 months ago, we were struggling to fund the free SHS program. 6 months ago, the center at Kuala Lumpur Teaching Hospital, which was managing people with kidney problems and so on, it had been shut. You understand? Shut. And I can go on and on and on. In an 8-year period, I mean, the price of Kenke rose from 50 pesos to 5 cedis. In an 8-year period, the value of the cedi so fell that we had to exchange the cedi at 16 cedis to $1, and it was continuing. You know, there was no stability in the currency market. Now, as a result of all of this, the people of Ghana voted and made a clear statement. The defeat that the new Patriotic Party suffered in the last election is unprecedented. You understand? Unprecedented in recent history. In 1951, they suffered the worst defeat, you know, but unprecedented in recent history. So the leadership of that party needs to sit down, to reflect, to find out what went wrong, and to assure the people of Ghana that it has the capacity to change. That is not happening. What is happening is a mad contest for who will become the presidential candidate of that party. You see, until the people of Ghana develop confidence in the new Patriotic Party, until the people of Ghana come to the conclusion that the party has something new to offer, some life-changing thing to offer, this contest for presidential candidature can only be a joke. Look, recently, We were told that 16 members of parliament trooped to Dr. Baumia's house to pledge allegiance and support to him, you know, as a candidate for the 2028 elections. The question I ask is simply this. These 16 members of parliament, didn't he support his bid, which ended up in embarrassment? They did. So what is new? And if these were 60 MPs who opposed him, who were coming on board, perhaps it will make sense, it will make a difference. These are the same MPs who supported him and pushed him into doom. So what does that mean? And then we are told that Metropolitan and District Chief Executives also trooped former to go and pledge allegiance. What does that mean? It means absolutely nothing. You understand? So, look, and I'm being very honest here, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, as an individual, as a person, not as a flag bearer and so on, I think he's a nice chap. But you see, countries are not ruled by nice chaps. Countries are governed by people who have experience, who understand the national problem, who have solutions to the national problem, and who are able to mobilize, and so on. Okay? So Dr. Bawumia is a nice chap. What does that mean? Absolutely nothing. It means absolutely nothing. In any case, right now, scientific surveys suggest that more than 70% of the Ghanaian population still have confidence in Mahama. President Mahama is enjoying a honeymoon. You understand? His goodwill has not evaporated yet. In fact, right now, to oppose the Mahama administration is to court public disapproval. That's the situation in which we are. Okay? People are willing to forgive this administration, even when it makes mistakes and so on. The NPP does not seem to realize that, and is embarked on some strange campaign. You understand? Some very strange campaign. I mean, 2 months ago, the NPP's main focus was to convince the people of Ghana that President Mahama would go for a third term. Where did that come from? I can't understand. And when they are challenged, they are all over the place. So, 2-3 months ago, their main focus was on creating the impression that President Mahama would go for a third term. Kwame, I would be surprised, I would be very surprised if the Mahama I know attempts to go for a third term. I'll be completely surprised. It will be completely out of character. In fact, it will not make any sense at all if President Mahama makes the move to go for a third term. And I know he's a sensible young man. He wouldn't make that mistake. You understand? So they should drop that campaign. It's not going to happen. Mahama is not going to go for a third term. I'll be surprised. Indeed, if he decides to go for a third term, I will oppose it. Publicly and vigorously oppose it. You understand? But I know that he's a wise person and he would not make that mistake. And campaigns which are based on conjecture and so on are meaningless campaigns because very soon the conjecture is exposed. You understand? So they should drop that. They are now busily opposed to the introduction or to the increment of the energy levy. Bitterly opposed to it, saying all kinds of things. And the main message they are sending is that every E-levy is the same because it starts with E. You know, so they are comparing the electronic transaction levy to E-levy. All of them starts with E and therefore they are the same. I mean, what childishness is this? The problem is that we have a power sector debt which is ballooning, and some estimates say that now it has reached $3.7 billion. Where is the NPP's alternative to resolving that problem? And I haven't heard any suggestion as to how to resolve that problem, how to retire that debt. In any case, this levy, it's not a new levy. This is a levy which was in place when the NPP was in power. And the concept is not new. In 2001, President Kufuor introduced the Third Debt Recovery Levy. The same principle, the same rationale. So what are they complaining about? Now, this idea of electing a flag bearer sometime early next year, so it doesn't make sense. Look, it is not because their flag bearer was elected late that they lost the election so miserably. Because for the last 8 years, he was vice president, he had visibility and so, and yet he lost. So it's not about electing him early or late. That's not the point. And I think that they miss it. Now, the very structures which took NPP to election and failed so miserably are the same very structures which they are empowering to take such a major decision as the election of a flag bearer for the 2028 elections. Does it make sense? And many people have spoken against it. They won't listen. Many of their loyal party members are speaking against this. They won't listen. I mean, one of the latest to speak against this is my friend Eugene Boachi Entry. He has told them it's not going to work. It's not going to improve our chances. They are not listening. President Kufuor has told them it's not going to work. They won't listen. And so on. What are they in a rush to achieve? Another failure? They want to achieve another failure? It's up to them. You see, I have always said that genuine democracy thrives on the strength and vision of the political vanguard. In a bourgeois multi-party democratic era, that vanguard is made up of parties. Okay? So you need these parties to develop strength. NPP is developing weakness. Day after day is developing weakness. If the NPP becomes what it is becoming, if it eventually becomes what it is becoming, the democracy will be fractured. And listen, now you have the New Patriotic Party, which wants to make, whose leaders want to make Bawumia their flag bearer. It is there. Now, and my brother Philip London is saying he may confirm or deny or he may decide to keep silent. There is news that the movement for change is transforming into a political party. That will be announced in the next couple of weeks or days and so on. You understand? Its base is the New Patriotic Party. It is certainly taking something out of the New Patriotic Party and perhaps adding from other places and so on. That's a dent, a huge dent. Dr. Amuaku, what is called, Ba, has announced the formation of a party whose base will also be the New Patriotic Party. They should be worried about this. They should be very deeply worried about that. They don't appear to worry about that. They should go back to 1979 and look at what happened when we had the UNC and the what? And the PFP, you know. What happened? They haven't learned the lessons of 1979. Look, the NPP has many important thinkers. Many people who have a commitment to developing Ghana's democratic experiment and so on. I can go on and mention them. You know, many of them. You know, Kwame PNU, Paul Afoko, and so on. So many of them, Kudum PNU and so on. To what extent are these stalwarts being involved in the reshaping of the party? How come that today the NPP has become what it is? My brother, listen to me very carefully. Some time ago, regional chairmen of the party, their caliber was that of Dr. Donko Fojo. That was the caliber of regional chairman of the party. The one who was in the central region, what was his name? You know, you should be helping me. Professor something. You know, and so on. This was the caliber. The contest for the presidential candidature of the party was between John Kufuor, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and Edu Buahini, and so on, J.H. Mensah. That was the caliber. Look at today's caliber. Look at today's caliber. Does that give you any hope? In any case, the point must be made that the deterioration is not just confined to NPP, it's everywhere. Some people that I hear and say that they want to be president. Wow, Ghana. Mother, there's one woman, anytime I hear her, said, what is this where Ghana has gotten to? That woman who says that her key policy is that when she takes office, everybody who receives governmental appointment has to swear by water paid for by unemployed people. And that is the solution to Ghana's problems. I say, my goodness, is this where we've come to? And then there's the candidate who wants to dig a canal all the way from Jamestown to Swami, you know, to send the sea to Swami and so on. And I just wonder, is this where we're going to get? Master, let's be serious. I mean, let's really be serious. Even if you look at the National Democratic Congress, and let's be serious. Look at the National Democratic Congress. My brother, let's be serious, all of us. Look at the National Democratic Congress. After John Mahama, they are going to struggle to get a candidate like him. No, honest. When John Mahama's term ends, in 2028 or 2029, January 2029, who are you producing as a replacement? It's a big problem. It is so very possible that the NDC may elect a presidential candidate based on his popularity within the party, and the people will reject him or her outright. It is possible. So the 2028 election presents all kinds of course, I'm not saying that there are not people within the NDC who can lead this country. I have tremendous respect for Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman. You know, I mean, she's proven it. You know, I mean, risen through the ranks in academia, participated in government with sterling record, and so on. Interesting personality who could very, very easily become the flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress. But all of us don't know her health status. I don't know. You don't know. You are a leading member of the NDC. I don't think you know.
I don't know.
You know? So would that become an impediment for her? We don't know yet. And if that becomes an impediment for her, who else is the party going to promote? My good friend Kojo Bonsu says he wants to be president. Kojo Bonsu wants to be president. Well, maybe he has taken one step forward by being appointed as ambassador to China. Maybe. I don't know if Dr. Dufo has abandoned his ambition. I don't know. But if he hasn't abandoned his ambition, is he a viable candidate? Well, time will tell. Then there's my good friend and comrade Asedu Nketia. I'm hearing, and I believe that what I'm hearing could be true, that he also has some ambition. Is that true? He's popular within the party, no problem. He's popular within the party. But with his popularity in the party translate into a victory in the national elections? I don't know. You understand? So there are all kinds of imponderables. And then Hey, I have friends, oh, my brother, I have friends.
Yeah, all your friends, all of them are.
Everybody. Kufuor, my friend, Akufo-Addo, my friend, John Mahama, my friend. Everybody. Eh? I have plenty of friends, oh. And this is one of my friends too. This is one of my friends too, you know. And my very good friend, Julius Debra, he hasn't said so. But there are many people in the field who are saying that, oh, he's the one to go after Mahama and so on. And I'm wondering, is that true? Can that be true? If that is true, to what extent can he be seen to be loyal to this administration, which is headed by John Mahama and Jenana Opoku? I don't know. I don't have answers. You know, what does he bring to the table? So 2028 appears to be exceedingly interesting. I doubt. I doubt. He's also my friend, and he hasn't told me about any such ambition. I would suspect that if he really was interested in 2028, perhaps I'm one person he would have told. He hasn't told me anything. I don't know. But in any case, even if he were to become the candidate, there are challenges that he must also overcome. And one of the challenges is that, unfortunately for us, our politics is still regional, ethnic, and so on. And that's a major challenge he's going to face. You understand? How is he going to convince the tribalists, the ethnocentric elements, the regionalists, and so on, that we can move from Mahama to Haruna Idrisu? That's his challenge. I don't mind. I don't care if all the cabinet ministers are frafras. I don't care. I don't care if all the cabinet ministers are in Zima. For as long as they are delivering and serving the interests of all the people of Ghana, I don't care. But there are some who care. And that will be a challenge that Haruna will face if he has that ambition. I don't think that he has that ambition. But if he had that ambition, it's a challenge that he's likely to face. Everything else told, 2028 is going to be interesting. And I want to be alive in 2028. I want to see 2028 happen and unfold before our eyes.
Clearly, 2028 poses an interesting dynamic for the NDC.
For everybody. For all the parties.
I mean,
Do you fear some?
And
Let me give you some very small advice.
yes.
Not plenty at all, small advice. You see, there are those in the NDC who have started saying that Ghana is not ready for a woman president. A woman is not qualified to be president and so on. If you elect any of those people as president, you have lost the election before you start.
Yeah.
Women are 52% of the Ghanaian population.
Yeah.
And in this day of enlightenment, anybody who betrays this level of backwardness is not fit to be a leader of Ghana. So those who want to campaign on that basis, let them go ahead. It's suicidal. They'll be committing suicide. You understand? This whole foolish thing of a woman, Ghana is not ready to accept a woman as president. It's so foolish, it's unbelievable. They should drop it. Electricity goes off. Life comes to an end. In any modern society, your industries collapse, unemployment increases, your health service collapse, your educational systems don't work, nothing works, you know, when electricity goes off. And therefore it is important that we take electricity seriously, we take the power sector seriously. And in taking the power sector seriously, we need to find the resources to retire this burdensome debt that continues to balloon. And I like to hear people come up with suggestions. Those who do not like the levy. Come up with something else. Come up with something sensible, something that works, you know, and let's solve this problem because we need to have electricity.
This one says, good morning to you, KOD and the panelists. In fairness to Rollins, he resisted the idea of transforming the PNDC into a political party and being its flag bearer until 3 months to the close of the Consultative Assembly. His agreement was largely due to pressure from the Keda group in the Consultative Assembly and Captain Chikata. Thanks, Salifu, Keda member of Consultative Assembly. One last message. This one says, it's from Kingston Bisnap Asimiga. Good morning, watching you live from New York City. I can never miss the Thursday panel. Very solid, rich in knowledge. And Justice is simply asking, if President Mahama is performing well, what prevents him from continuing from 2029?
The Constitution.
Martin from the assumption inherent in that is that of all the 32 or 33 million people, only one is sensible and capable.
Okay.
That's a serious assumption. It's damning and should not be encouraged.
Well, there's a message from a very old man, so he says, even if Professor Nana becomes president and resigns later due to ill health, we prefer her. All right. Hey, Nana Opoku is supposed to be the next president unless we are not going by the rules of the game. Lai Ubiabwa Jonathan from Bolga. Okay, all right, guys. Okay, a lot of messages coming in for Professor Nana. In support of Professor Nana, actually.
Thank you for making time with us once again. We really appreciate your time and say God bless you for the good work we are doing and continue to do for us. May we all be great. Thank you.
Dedi kama mamena PENDREAM TV ase. Now so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.